Welcome into the Warzone. This is your host, Derek Church. With me, as always, is my sidekick, Athletic Director Paul Jones.
I want you to reintroduce me.
Reintroduce you? You're my sidekick.
I don't like that term.
All right. Welcome into the Warzone. This is Derek Church. I am the mentor of Athletic Director Paul Jones. He's joining me here in the studio. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am.
Just kidding. What is going on, Warrior family?
Got to bring that energy.
Energy. Fake it till you make it.
We are. This is an exciting week. As you probably saw when you looked at the title of the pod, this is Football Frenzy.
Fantasy
football
frenzy.
We had a fantasy football draft this last week. I'm excited about my team. Paul, I'm not as excited about your team, but
why?
That's all right. Well, we're going head to head week one.
Is it because I drafted a bear?
He did. He drafted a bear. He drafted Justin Fields.
Woo!
So I had to change my team name today. I was the Justin Fields experience. I went back to the tried and true shut up and drive. That's my fantasy team for
this
2 decades.
This is a family podcast.
Hey, shut up and drive. You know what I mean? That's how I live my life.
Driving on the A1 with the top down. Am I right?
That's right. So we did it. We have a TCA fantasy football league. Myself and Paul are the commissioners.
That's it. That's the whole league. It's
head to head each week. Me against Paul.
Paul
we have
against
added. No, Paul against me.
Paul against I.
Sherry Fike, if you're listening, chime in the comments.
Shout
Let
out
us know.
to the Fike.
So in the league, though, we've got the two of us are in the league. We've got Cal and Marissa Sinelli.
Mr. Sinelli and Mrs. Sinelli.
Mr. Sinelli Jr. just to clarify.
We have Mrs. Tammy Lewick. We have Mr. Tammy Lewick.
Yes.
We have
their son,
Tammy Lewick
Jared
Jr.
Lewick. Yeah, he jumped in last minute.
We have a TCI member, Mr. Andrew Aiden.
With 2 TCI, we got John Thompson.
He doesn't really count.
Okay, that's true. He's kind of TCI.
Yeah, he's a floater.
He's riding that fence.
We have Mrs. O'Malley.
Yeah, big time.
Big Eagles fan.
That was a big get for the league.
Yeah. Yes.
It really was.
We have Mr. Dan Sturgis.
Yep, soccer guy. Doesn't know anything about football.
We have... what else we got?
Who are we leaving out? Are we leaving somebody out?
Oh, the legend. The man. The myth. The one we all have beloved, and he left us.
Anthony England.
Mr. Anthony England. Moment of silence for Anthony.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
Yeah.
Everyone's replaceable.
So, just real quick before we get into TCA news, and then we get into the football preview, because we're talking a little football today, but give me 2 guys on your team that you picked that you're excited about.
I won't give you the obvious, My team is obviously the best because I snagged in a half-point PPR. I snagged Alvin Kamara and DeAndre Hopkins. But I'll give you my sleeper. So my sleeper quarterback I'm really excited about. I have 2 of them. I got Jalen Hurts, the pride and joy of Oklahoma and Alabama. Yes, I said that to a Tagovailoa, if you're listening. And Justin Fields. I think by week 4, Justin Fields is going to be a weekly starter, top 5 QB in fantasy, and probably top 20 in real life. And my sleeper wide receiver that I cannot wait to break out is Mr. Antonio Brown himself.
Yeah, he's.
What about? We don't need to talk about me. Like, we're gonna talk this whole year about our fantasy, but just give me your 2 favorite players you're looking forward to.
I'm gonna go Bama heavy on the guys that I liked. Okay, the obvious one,
Trent Richardson.
Oh yeah, Trent, big time player. No, I went Derrick Henry. Yes. Early in the draft. I love Derrick Henry.
I love Derrick Henry.
I mean, the guy's a wrecking ball.
If you don't like Derrick Henry, you don't love America.
Then I'm going to go... I have 2 wide receivers that are sleepers, but I don't know how much of a sleeper they are. I think they're both going to break out in the rookie season. So I've got Devontae Smith, an Eagle.
Hey, if he does well, I do well with Jalen Hurts.
And then we have Jalen Waddle. So 2 Alabama receivers... Waddle being the local Miami Dolphin now. I like those guys. I like Alabama players.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle doesn't wow me. And the vibes I get from Jalen Waddle is a Jalen Reagor.
I don't know. I just think because he didn't make as big of an impact last year because of the injury, it's hard to...
Sounds like Jalen Reagor.
Well, I'm just saying, he's no Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle's no Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Reagor's no Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Reagor isn't Jalen Waddle.
He's a Jalen, but he's not a
Waddle. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. You guys tracking with this in your cars?
So anyways, we're going head-to-head this week. We will definitely be posting about who wins that matchup. See who gets bragging rights here on the podcast. So, all right, before we move on to the NFL, I want to talk a little TCA Warriors athletics.
I guess we should talk about
that's
TCA.
kind of the whole point of the pod. So, we had a busy couple weeks. We're full into the season now, and we've had some really good, successful things happening. So, why don't we start off talking about Warrior of the Week? We've had a couple. We gave one out today. We had one last week.
Yeah, so I'll do last week. You can do this week.
Sure, yeah.
So, our girl Eva got our first Warrior of the Week for the new school year in the athletic season. She set a personal record in her first cross-country meet, and she performed great, so she won Warrior of the Week. If you know Eva, great attitude, a true, genuine believer of Jesus Christ, and it's great to see those types of kids succeed on the court or on the field. And then our second Warrior of the Week was...
Yeah. Camilla Fundora.
Fundora! Put the fun in Dora.
She's had a really great start to the season. She's a very fun player to watch on the volleyball team because she's not an incredibly tall player up at the net, but she's very athletic.
Just say it.
She's not short. She's just... She's on the shorter side. But, man, she can get up. She's very strong. She's very athletic.
Yeah.
And she plays with such enthusiasm. She's fun to watch. You can tell she's having fun playing.
When she goes for a kill, she hits the ball down, which is really impressive for a smaller player.
Right. So I've in 3 years here, she's been one of my favorites to watch just because of the way she plays. You can tell she's having fun.
And personally, I mean, she has matured so much in the past couple of years.
Yeah, she's a great kid, a great part of the athletic program. So happy to see her get that recognition. She had a couple really great games last week.
Yep.
So speaking of volleyball, volleyball's 4-4 coming into tonight's. We're playing Santa Lucis tonight.
Thursday.
That would be Thursday.
The 9th.
So when you listen to this, don't show up because it's going to be already over.
Don't do it.
But we're 4-4. At this point last year, we were 2-6. So we've made some
I
good
think
strides.
That's better.
You know what? I think it is.
I think that's better.
I think it is. They got a big win over Morningside last week.
Yes.
It took a loss to Berean, but it was actually a very competitive start to finish match.
Speaking of Berean, varsity lost. But our middle school girls team pulled out a W. Our JV girls team pulled out a W. And our fan section pulled out a big L, like Jameis Winston, taking a bite out of the W. They showed out. They showed up. Shout out to Warrior Nation. Shout out to Coach Church for getting that big sign ordered. Darn it.
We thought we'd make it.
Shout out to Coach Miguel for getting on the ladder on top of the bleachers and hanging that giant white Warzone sign. If you know, you know. Warrior family, keep showing out for these games. We are proud of you.
Yeah, it was exciting. And, to go back to that JV for a second, they've won 3 matches in a row in 3 games. And each game has been exciting, and it's a mark of a good team when you can close out a team when it's tight.
When you win 3 in a row, what's that called?
That's a winning streak.
That is a winning of the streaks.
All right. So we've... I also wanted to talk briefly about cross country because they had a great start to their season. We haven't really got a chance to talk about that first Park Vista meet. So you mentioned Eva. Eva had a personal record. She was not the only one with a PR, though. I know that Luke had a PR. And we have another one. I think we had another PR.
You put him on the spot, man. Luke had a PR. Well, technically, Paul Morrissey had a PR.
The De La Cruz boys, all 3 of those guys are new runners that had...
So technically, it was a PR.
Yes.
Because it was his first one.
That's true. And Paul finished in the 21-minute range, which for
Paul finished strong. We have a video up of that meet, and you're watching it like, why did they post this video? I mean, he's in last. He passes 4 runners on the last stretch. So I think that deserved a shout out.
Yeah, it was a great race to start off. I mean, we're competing against some of the biggest schools in the region and held our own quite well. Now, there was a rumor going around, and I say it's a rumor because I haven't confirmed it with my own stopwatch. So maybe you can address it because you heard it, but we may have a potential school record holder in our midst. Unofficially, but what did you hear?
Rex,
the mascot.
Set a new record for the 3 mile.
Really?
No. Chris Gunterman, unofficially, so there is no stopwatch, in practice set a record for our 3 mile for the school. Unofficially.
And that was in the 17-minute range.
17-minute range. So, like I said, it's unofficial. So we're just going to have to see Chris Gunterman get out there and see what he's made of.
All right, Chris,
he was battling
listening.
an injury last meet, so we haven't seen this kid run yet this year.
Yep.
But hey, haters are going to hate. I believe the hype. You believe the hype?
Hey, I'm gonna wait and see.
Hey,
Chris,
you're a
if
hater.
listening-
You're a hater.
If you're listening, Chris, I want to see it.
Chris Gunterman, I believe in you.
All right, that is the Warrior News wrap up. Now we are getting into a segment that has nothing to do with TCA, but has everything to do with athletics. It's something that you and I are both very passionate about, and that is
Water
NFL
polo.
football.
Oh, wow, misread that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
NFL football, it's coming up. It starts tonight, actually. So we're going to kind of break down our thoughts on the season and where we see the standings ending up. And you guys can hold us to these, 3-4 months down the road. We'll come back and revisit it. But we sat down and we talked about what we think is going to happen this season.
All right, now for this segment, we are going to be going through the NFL way too early predictions.
I don't know if it's too early. We're like a
you're
week
right.
away.
It's way too early.
Okay.
Yeah, it's yet to be at least within 5 days.
All right, we're both NFC guys. Can we start with the NFC?
Yes, we can start with the NFC. So what we're going to do first is we're going to pick all the playoff teams. So we're going to go through the 4 NFC divisions, and we're going to pick the division winners, and then we'll pick our 3 wild card playoff teams. All right, so Derek, do you want to start with your pick to win the NFC West?
Okay, this is maybe the best division in the NFL. I mean, you got the Rams.
It's definitely the best in the NFC.
Yeah, we'll get to the AFC. We'll see if there's a better one. But Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals, Niners. I think all those teams are legit. I'm going to go with the Rams. I like Matt Stafford as a quarterback there. I like the defense. So I'm going Rams to win that division.
All right, so I also think the Rams will win the NFC West. So as a tiebreaker to see who is correct in a couple months, what do you think the Rams' record will be?
I'm going to go... I'm going to go 12-5. 17-game season.
Right. All right, so I'll go 13-4.
13-4. All right.
That sounds so weird.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. All right, so NFC South. I'll pick mine first.
Okay.
Definitely not the Atlanta Falcons. So I think NFC South division winner is going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think?
I'm also going to go Bucks. I think the Bucks are still loaded, and it's hard to pick against Brady.
All right.
We're going record on this.
We're going record.
I'll go 11-6.
All right, so I will go 12 wins. So what is that?
12-5.
5. Thank you for helping me with my addition.
All right, NFC East.
So the powerhouse that is the NFC East. It's you're up first, or the division winner?
I mean, I don't like any of the options in this division really very much. I do think the Redskins have been an interesting team the last couple of years. I do think the Cowboys, potentially, if they're healthy, are interesting.
Believe it or not, they might be the worst division in football, but they are probably the most competitive division in football.
It's very competitive. It's very balanced.
The Giants loaded up on receivers. They have Saquon coming back. The Washington football team has Fitz back there with Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson. Cowboys, they're stacked offensively, but they're just a mess as an organization. And the Eagles, that Hurts, Goddard, Ertz, and Devontae Smith connection, that could be something crazy.
All right. After thinking about it more, I just scratched out my pick. I changed it. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I'm going to go with a couple Notre Dame guys. Got Zach Martin on the line. You got Jalen Smith.
Heresy.
I'm going to go Cowboys over the Redskins in that spot.
All right, so this is out of curiosity. That's not my pick, but what do you think the Cowboys are? What do you think their record's going to be this year?
8-9, and that'll be enough to win this division.
All right, so I think the Washington football team will win 11 games this year.
Okay.
So I have the Washington football team at 11-6. But I think it's going to be close. I think Ron Rivera and Fitz, I think they're a match made in heaven, man. And Ron Rivera doesn't lose a lot of games.
No,
historically.
I would definitely say the Redskins were on my radar up until about 1 minute ago. So not a bad pick.
All right, so NFC North, this is your division. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, but I have to go with the Packers. If Aaron Rodgers had actually been traded, I know, I hate it.
Go.
And we're 1 year away from Rodgers being gone. He'll be a Bronco next year.
Rodgers!
Yep. I got to go Packers. I honestly, if Rodgers wasn't gone, to tell you how good I think Rodgers is, and I hate the guy, but like how good I think he is, I think they'd be the last place team in this division without him, and I think they're the first place team with him.
The Lions are pretty bad.
You take Rodgers is so good. I don't think the rest of that roster is that great.
All right,
but
so you
Rodgers
have the Packers winning the division, as do I. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to win 15 games this year. I think this man is on a mission.
I'm going to go 12.
12?
Yeah. I'm telling you, I don't think the Packers roster is that good.
He won 13 last year.
And he's a year older. And
he's a year better.
I don't know.
You think an angry Aaron Rodgers isn't going to win more than 13 games?
I think he's angry at the Packers. I don't know if he's angry.
Exactly. He wants to win MVP again and leave.
I'm going 12 wins. I'm giving him the division.
All right. I'm going 15 wins for Aaron Rodgers. I'm going big baller. But I will give it to you. I think the Chicago Bears will finish in third place in their division because they're going to mess around with the Andy Dalton experiment a little too long and throw their season away. And I think Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook, I think that's a really good offense.
We'll find out. We'll see what happens. All right, wild card picks. I'll give you my three, and then let you.
So if you don't understand what a wild card is, it's just the teams that make the playoffs that didn't win their division. So we're going to pick three of them.
So I'm going to go Seahawks out of the West.
Okay.
Every year in and year out, that's a solid group. And we got Russell Wilson. I feel good about them. I'm going to go 49ers out of the West as well. 49ers were a last place team last year.
Wow.
But I like...
Over the Cardinals?
I'm going to go over the Cardinals. I like the 49ers. I like that they're healthy this year.
Wow.
Let's not forget, we're not far off from them being a Super Bowl team.
If AJ Green is healthy, who's going to stop that offense?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Granted, he probably won't be.
And he's old.
Yes.
I like what I see from the 49ers. And then I'm going to go my last wild card. I'm going to go the Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway.
The Saints aren't making the playoffs.
I do not have the Saints in the playoffs. I do not believe in Jameis Winston. I believe Drew is gone.
You're picking the Bears over the Vikings.
I am.
And Washington.
Because the Bears defense has stars all over it. I think the Red Rocket Andy Dalton will be on the bench by week 3. I think Justin Fields is in the lineup. And I think the Bears probably win 9 or 10 games.
The Bears, a David opportunity.
Now, I'm worried about the offensive line.
As you should be.
But I feel like they've got enough on the defensive side of the ball. If they play Justin Fields soon enough, they can win 9 or 10 games.
All right, so I disagree with some of what you said. So I agree. I think the Seahawks will make the playoffs. I think Russell Wilson is a future Hall of Famer. I think he's extremely efficient. And when you're throwing to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, it's hard not to win a lot of games. I think this is tough. I think the Arizona Cardinals will make the playoffs. I think Kyler Murray is going to take that jump. He's just so versatile, and you're throwing a D-Hop and A.J. Green. That's deadly, man. Even without AJ Green,
No, they're good. I like watching the Cardinals play. They're a fun team to watch, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're better than what I'm giving them credit for.
And their defense is young and they're improving, so that's my 2 wild card there. Then one more wild card. It's tough. I think Jameis is going to do great, but I don't think he's going to make the playoffs. I'm going to go with my hometown, Philadelphia Eagles, baby. I think they're going to sneak in with 9 wins. I think they're going to go 9-8. They're going to sneak in the very, very last week of the season. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to show people that he was the right quarterback out of Alabama, not that Tua Tagovailoa guy. You right? Am I right?
See. We'll find out.
Hey, but real quick,
they're going to go from 4 wins to 9. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So, would you rather have Tua and Waddle or Hurts and Smith?
Oh, man. I would probably rather have Hurts and Smith.
Exactly.
I don't believe in Tua, really. So, and I think Smith and Waddle are very even in my mind. So, I like the running mobile quarterback in Hurts. So, I feel like if I had to choose, I'd choose. But I would not want either one of those situations.
All right. Now to the AFC. So, we'll do our 4 divisional winners, and then we'll do our 3 wild card teams. So, you want to start off, Derek?
Yeah. So let's start. We'll start in the. What is this? The AFC
South.
AFC South.
He cut the top off the TV screen and he didn't know.
The AFC South. Well, because come on.
West, North, East, and
the Indianapolis
South,
Colts
Derek.
are in the South. Indiana is a Southern team. That's ridiculous.
You should know that the Colts are in the...
I know they are. I'm just saying, it's ridiculous that they're in the Southern Division.
All right.
Doesn't jump out to me.
All right,
I'm starting in that division.
It's an obvious choice.
That division is the haves and the have-nots. You got the Titans and the Colts are both good. The Jaguars are terrible. And the Texans are going to be probably the worst team in football this year. I'm assuming Deshaun Watson does not play.
The Jags cut a multi-sport Heisman winner, 2-time national champion. They can't be bad if they cut a guy like that.
That's a great point. You know what? Maybe I will. No, I won't. I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts as my choice.
Whoa! Upset alert!
I don't know. Both teams were 11-5 last year.
You're going with the glass cannon, Carson Wentz?
I'm a big Quentin Nelson fan. I love that line.
He also is injured, but
he's back. He's back, baby.
He's already back?
Yeah, he's back.
What?
He's back in practice. So is Carson. They're already both back in practice now. So I think they're ready to go week 1. I'm going Colts.
All right, so we disagree. I think the Tennessee Titans are a top 3 team in the NFL. The only thing I can see disrupting that season is COVID, because there's already a COVID outbreak in their facility. But they had that last year, and they still went on to win 11 games. So I think that the Tennessee Titans, with my boy Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, the King, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, golly, and they have a strong defense. So when you have an offense like that and your head coach is defensive-minded, good night. But the Colts will be good. They have a good roster. But I think the Titans will take that division. So AFC East. This division, I love this division. Besides the New York Jets, obviously. The Bills, the Dolphins, and the Patriots. So the Patriots actually have a very solid roster. A lot of their roster was out last year due to COVID, opting out, things like that. So I don't think the Patriots will win the division, but we might hear their name later, if you know what I mean. I think the Buffalo Bills will win the division. What about you, Derek?
Yeah, I'm going to go Buffalo Bills. In fact, I think the Buffalo Bills might be the best team in the NFL. I'm not sold on. I'm not saying I'm not giving my Super Bowl pick yet, but the Buffalo Bills are extremely good. I love what they've got there.
I agree, they're a top 4 team.
Since we're tying on this one, I'm gonna go Bills. I'm going 15-2 for the Bills.
I go 13-4.
All right. AFC North. This is another division that I really like a lot because I feel like those
Yep.
top three teams with the Steelers, Ravens,
Or
Browns.
even the Bengals.
I like Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow balled last year. He looked great.
Yeah.
And Joe Mixon, they stacked the box against him every single game, so he's going to be the Joe Mixon that we know. Because who was Joe Burrow's backup last year?
Some guy. I don't know.
Some guy, exactly. But if you don't know, I'm a big Browns guy. They're actually my second favorite team in the NFL. Big Baker guy, big Jarvis guy, Juice Landry. And OBJ has grown on me once he got out of that ugly blue. So, best backfield in the NFL for the Browns. So, my pick for the AFC North is going to be the Browns.
I'm also going the Browns. I like the Browns a lot.
Yep.
Browns are fun to watch.
That backfield is crazy.
It's a ton of offensive talent. I think Baker Mayfield is one of those guys that goes through the interesting like up and down of starting off as overrated, and now I actually feel like he's kind of underrated. I feel because he was a number one pick, the expectations were so high, and then when he didn't live up to them immediately in Cleveland, people kind of looked at him as like a second-tier quarterback, and I think he's much better than that. I love what he is as a quarterback. I think OBJ is going to be a difference maker.
Mm-hmm. They got 17 tight ends on the roster that can play. They have Myles Garrett.
And don't sleep on the defense either. I like the Browns. I've got them at 13 wins. I've got them at 13-4.
So do I. So that's a problem.
All right. Well,
we can disagree on that one.
Okay.
AFC West. So this one's kind of obvious. I'll let you go first there.
Yeah, the AFC West. Obviously, you got to go with the Chiefs. I mean, there's really no argument for the other teams. Although I do think the Raiders and the Chargers in the middle there are interesting as up and coming teams.
But the Broncos, they might have the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah, and you got Vic Fangio, who I loved as the Bears coordinator. I love what he brings to the table as a defensive minded coach.
He looks kind of dopey.
He does, but
he looks like Sleepy from this.
He is like a genius.
Is it the Seven Dwarfs?
Yeah, Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, he's sleepy or mopey. But yeah, we both have the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning. I have them winning 16 games.
I have them at 14-3.
With the Broncos, Teddy Bridgewater, Bridge over troubled water was his name, the starting quarterback as of yesterday that we're recording this. So who knows? Who knows? So our three wildcard teams. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
You can go ahead.
All right. So my three wildcard teams. I'll start with the Baltimore Ravens. I think they're going to have a great year. I think Lamar Jackson is extremely underrated for what he does on the field. They got him some help, even though their first round pick wide receiver was it Perriman? He's injured, but they got Sammy Watkins, so I think they're going to figure that offense out. And their defense is solid. So they're my first wildcard team. My second wildcard team is going to be the New England Patriots. So I'm a big believer in Cam. But even if they go with Mac, I think Bill Belichick has a full roster at his disposal. He won 7 games last year, and that team was awful. They were so bad. When your best wide receiver is Jacoby Myers.
Okay, counterpoint though. Before Tom Brady, Bill Belichick was a retread head coach who failed in more than one spot.
Well, that's not fair because before Baker, it was like a 20-year gap. Bill Belichick was the only coach that was able to bring the Browns to the playoffs. So think about it.
Yeah, one season.
2 decades of failure. Bill Belichick was there for 3 years, and they went to the playoffs.
I'm just saying, we'll see. Let's see in year 2 without Tom Brady.
Yeah,
what he does.
We can wait and see.
Because Brady obviously proved in his 1 year away.
Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah, that he is by far the best. So we'll see what Belichick does. But I wrote Patriots down as a potential for me too, so I'm not necessarily hating on the pick. I just am not sure if Belichick is...
Right.
If is it a Belichick thing or is it a Brady thing,
So for my third team, can we do an asterisk?
We can do anything we want. This is our podcast.
If Deshaun Watson plays, the Texans will make the playoffs over the Colts. I think that's how good Deshaun... plays a full season, obviously. I think he's that good. I think even though they stripped that team entirely, I think Deshaun Watson is that good. Who's the quarterback in Houston if Deshaun doesn't play?
Some guy. I think he's the guy who backed up the Bengals last year.
I can't even think of a name. Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, the Texans are either making the playoffs or going 0-17, but we'll just throw that out there. But I think the third legit team that will make the playoffs is the Indianapolis Colts. I think Carson Wentz is the real deal when he's on the field. I think he is a great coach around him that knows his skill sets, and their offensive line and their run game is legit. So, Colts for me. What about you?
All right, so wildcard teams, I've got the Tennessee Titans. I like them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Colts and the Titans, just like last year, it's going to be neck and neck in that division. I like how much they run the ball, although I'm not necessarily sure that's a way to win a Super Bowl, but I feel like it's a way to be consistently good every year. So I like the Titans. I'm going to go Ravens as my second. Another just great all-around franchise. It seems every year to be right there in the mix. Then it gets really tricky because there's a lot of teams that I think are very interesting. I think the Chargers are interesting.
You saw Pittsburgh floating around out
Yeah,
there.
the Steelers.
Najee Harris.
I like the Raiders. I like what they did last year.
The Jets.
Now, what about the local Dolphins?
They're a good team, but
at the end of the day, though, okay, I like all those teams. I can make a case for any. I got to go Steelers because Mike Tomlin just keeps winning. He is just consistently a 10-win coach.
I'm not against that pick. I was debating between the Steelers and the Colts.
If I wanted to go out on a limb pick, I would go Chargers. I think Herbert at quarterback, he made great strides as a rookie. I like what they're doing. But I don't know. It's hard to pick against Mike Tomlin. He just wins no matter what the situation is.
So your dark horse team would be?
I'd go Chargers as a dark horse, as a team that was under 500 last year.
My dark horse would be the Bengals.
I thought you just said the Houston Texans were your dark horse.
No, that's my asterisk team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You said it's our podcast. We can do what we want.
That's true.
All right, so for the final segment on picking teams, I need a Super Bowl matchup.
All right, so I'm going to go my Super Bowl matchup this year. I'm going to go the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills, with the Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Wow, they finally get their
Finally going to break
ring.
the curse. Yep.
Man, Jim Kelly would be proud. All right. So you have You have the Bucs and the Bills?
Bucs and the Bills.
That's got a good ring to it.
Yeah.
So my Super Bowl matchup is going to be the Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tanny, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Man, we're disrespecting Patrick Mahomes so much.
I like the Chiefs, but
I have the Chiefs winning 16 games. I don't even have them in the Super Bowl. You know what? Sure. Yeah. Tennessee Titans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I have Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl.
All right, so you heard it here. Paul's got the Bucs as his Super Bowl champ. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills, and we will revisit this for bragging rights and several months down the road. I'm feeling good, though. You know what? In fact, I might change it. Chicago Bears, Super Bowl champions. Let's just say it now.
Moving on.
All right. Hey, Paul, why don't you hit us with a verse as we close out this very, very special edition of the Warzone?
Hey, Derek, I will. Psalm 107:1. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. This is D. Church and P. Jones for the Warzone podcast. We're out.
We're out.